Let's focus on the good side of Power Rangers. No matter the season, there's always that gem of an episode that features one of the Rangers in a really good story, a monster that turned a new leaf, or we had a really great plot with a guest character. You wonder how this episode was only done as a one-off, while there's two-parters that became some pointless drawn-out nonsense. It always happens. I run into episodes where I'm going, my god, that would have been a great two-parter or even amazing season finale. Why did you guys do this and not that one? You get frustrated when you see that potential right in front of you, all of it going to the wayside for 5 episodes of Nick's backstory being done in the last 30 seconds. I'd like to thank Ben Smith for this suggestion, and if you'd like to give me yours, leave a comment below. I may pick it.
Forever Red.
I have to start off with this one. We've had 3 anniversary episodes so far, and honestly, Forever Red still feels like the only one to accomplish the goal right. Of course it has some negatives. It features only the Red Rangers and some nonsense with the Wild Force Rider, but for me, this was the best one, which was such a shame that it was a single episode. Anniversary episodes don't always have a lot of substance. They rely on spectacle, which is fine. Power Rangers can do episodes focused on fan service, nothing's wrong with that, as long as the characters are respected with a decent story. When I see the 10 Red Rangers, it's them. They're not fake. The way they fought, the way they interact, I see the reasons why I love this show on my TV screen, which is the problem when it comes to the other anniversary episodes, Overdrive being a bad insult to the main cast. I don't care that I didn't like the season, they're the heroes, they shouldn't have been thrown away like that. In Legendary Battle, I don't want to remember how many of the guests stand there and do nothing. I wished Forever Red was 2 parts. Many things could have been expanded on. A longer moment with Tommy and Jason. Jason helping out Cole with a leadership issue. They just dealt with Kite basically calling them out as crummy protectors of the Earth. It would have been a nice bonding moment for our 1st and 10th Ranger. Use Bulk and Skull in a bigger way, like get the rest of the Wild Force team into the episode by them saving the Red Rangers' butts at the last minute. Those 20 extra minutes could have expanded on the leftover Mondo forces. There was a lot of things that could have been done.
An oyster stew.
As a season finale, it works great. It feels big enough to close off the season, but thanks to Doomsday being the original intended finale of the series, it would have been better if this was extended into 2 parts as well. The story would have worked too. It was a Tommy and Zach focus episode doing some civilian stuff with Kim and Angela, while the other guys were doing their things. The first part would have been the whole setup of the monster and the dates, and then the cliffhanger being everyone frozen. This would have been the perfect time to explore Zach as being the leader. Right now, it's just down to the 2 of them, and Tommy is not in his prime. It would have been great to see Zach worrying about Tommy, getting advice from Zordon. Solving all these issues in the same episode felt too easy. It would have also been great to have seen more Zach Dragon Shield. That was a really big moment for the season. It showed that all the Rangers could use the Dragon Shield as a power-up and not just be Jason's personal ability. The Megazord fight underwater was another good set piece. To today's standards, it's not really good to watch, but for the time, that was a very unique Megazord fight. I would have liked to have seen that gone on longer.
Blue Ranger gone bad.
This could have easily been 2 parts. We have 2 identical Billies. The evil Billy could have done anything. It was such a waste that all he did was steal their power morphers. He could have sabotaged the command center and manipulate everyone. Can you imagine if evil Billy stole their power morphers, played the Rangers, and teleported back to Rita's lair as the cliffhanger? It would have totally screwed the team. Then everything solely relies on Billy to escape the dark dimension and get their morphers back. It would have been great to see him go through the palace. It was so rare that a Ranger ever went near that location. Evil Billy follows him down and they fight to the end. It could have been a really big moment for Billy and the series. This could have allowed them to pay to make additional sets for Zed besides just the balcony one.
Friends don't fade away.
This was my favorite episode from Jungle Fury. Not only was it a cool way to bring out RJ as a new Ranger, but it also featured Fran, who wasn't really used that good in the season up to then. She was always the butt of jokes, having to cover for the guys when she doesn't even work there, plus we really didn't get to know who she was. By this being a 2-parter, they could have expanded on RJ going out of control of his animal spirit like it was an emotional state issue, rather than him spirit just went insane from the last fight. He felt remorse for failing to stop Daishi from escaping, in return expand on Fran's role at helping out. Like, she could have shown how they first met, why she became a close friend to RJ. Maybe her flashback is what stops his spirit from going berserk. A similar connection that Hulk and Betty share in the Marvel comics. Not romantic, just a strong bond.
Jen's revenge.
I would have loved if this was expanded into a two-parter. It was a new way to show a Ranger's pain. Alex was just killed by Rancic, and Fat Catfish had already caused a lot of problems with Jen and Alex in the future. She wanted to take her anger out on something, so why not on a monster? I would have liked to have seen an extended backstory on Alex in this episode. We know he was a cop for Time Force and wanted to marry Jen, but that was it. It would have been nice to see that relationship form throughout the two parts. The morals of the episode were fine, but it would have been more interesting if they had went into a more gray area. Time Force did tackle some tougher issues in the season. It would have been nice to have heard one of them agree with Jen, say Wes, and argue that past Power Rangers have killed monsters to stop them. Only 2 seasons of PR don't actually kill monsters. It would have been an interesting moral dilemma that I see Time Force tackling well. At the end of the day, the Rangers kill monsters regardless of them killing humans and destroying cities. There is an argument that the Rangers are not morally superior in their actions toward enemies. I'm not saying the Rangers are evil, it's just an area that brings up some questions. It could also build upon the 2 time periods. Wes's viewpoint would be questioned due to the future moving away from that type of thinking.
When is a Ranger not a Ranger?
This should have been a 2-part episode. There was so much going on here. Bulk and Skull found out who the Rangers were. The Rangers at first lost memories for half the team, then the second half followed. This is where it would have been perfect for Bulk and Skull to find out. Since their memories were going to get erased, I would have liked to have seen them go all out. The guys trying to help out the confused Rangers, running away from Scatterbrain, hitting their communicators, and Alpha teleporting everyone to the command center where Bulk and Skull finally meet Zordon. This is where I would have liked to have seen them act serious. We're so used to them being idiots and goofballs, you forget they can do some really good emotional stuff when needed. It would have been great to see them be surprised and angry at how they got conned by them and ultimately save the day restoring the Rangers' memories with their help. I would have also made it their decision to erase their own memories versus by mistake. It'd be like a throwback to when Aisha, Adam, and Rocky coming on. Instead, they believe it's better for them to not know the truth using Scatterbrain's ability to wipe it all gone. Everything would go back to the way it always has been, but the Rangers and the audience would gain more respect for Bulk and Skull early on.
Destined for Greatness.
This episode works fine as a standalone story, but I did have one problem with it. I know people don't really care about Mike that much, or the constant whining Leo did over him, but I still think he was a good second Magna Defender. I would have loved if both Magna Defenders would have fought together. For someone who used Mike's body for so long, died protecting his city and redeeming himself, it sucked that they never fought side by side. I think it would have been more powerful if the original Defender was able to fight and help out Mike for a short time, where they finish off the monster together and give that final farewell. It would have been a better epilogue to their story.
The Legendary Battle.
This is actually a fix to this damaged episode. Why do I praise Forever Red but hate Legendary Battle? Both are just single episodes, and both are fan service. It's caused by everything being poorly handled in the Legendary Battle. I said it before, doing fan service stuff is fine in Power Rangers as long as they respect the characters, but also younger audiences. What does Forever Red do to introduce the characters? Carter drives up to Cull and asks for his help. You get introduced to his strong presence, his to-the-point but friendly nature, along with the Lightspeed truck. Andros is covered in a cloak and is getting intel on the enemy. We know he's a loner and a tactician. Wes and Eric are reintroduced just to help anyone who missed the last team-up. TJ was introduced coming out of a sports car. This shows his love of high-speed cars, and for longtime fans gets to hear his full name. Tommy is played as a big character where Bulk and Skull have a lot of respect and fear from him. Leo is introduced with his Quasar Saber in a different place, giving him some mystery and showing off a different power. And finally Jason. He's introduced coming in with the bike, giving him that tough appearance combined with Tommy, who respects his longtime friend. If he has that much respect, who was being touted as the best Ranger, then Jason is a bigger deal. Oh, but I forgot one Ranger, and that's Orico. He shares the same problem that Legendary Battle had for every guest. They were afterthoughts. Exception for Carter and Dana, no one gets introduced that shows who they are. Everyone just shows up and you're expected to know them. This isn't fair to new fans. That stuff is already bad, but then you have Mike and Emily who get almost zero screen time while everyone else suffers from no lines or moments that just show generic saving the day. The worst problem being, this is the finale for the Super Mega Force team. An anniversary episode is very important, but so is the season finale. Both should not be together, let alone in a single episode. The anniversary should have happened in the middle of the season. None of the footage that they did use would have caused any problems doing that. This should have been moved away from the season finale and been done as a two-parter. Super Mega Force has a lot of characters and abilities that would have worked better if the Legacy cast had space to breathe on their own.
Cyborg Rangers.
This episode was filled with a lot of messages. The strength of human nature, the friendship and determination of the team, fighting automation, it all had a nice conclusion. Don't get me wrong, the people who work at Lightspeed Rescue create amazing things. Miss Fairleather and her team are responsible for making everything possible to protect the city. But things can go too far. Replacing people for everything isn't always a good idea. Monsters and enemies are unpredictable. Robots, while impressive, can't do everything. I wish this was a two-parter so that it would have expanded on seeing it more from the Lightspeed team and our secondary characters' perspectives where they fight to get these things removed. I know Captain Mitchell and Fairweather hated that the team was being replaced. Part 1 could have focused on them, but then Part 2 would see what the team was up to. This is what Overdrive should have done in the 15th anniversary. Quitting being Rangers is a perfectly fine story, but we need to see a good reason and for them to keep on fighting until they're restored.
TJ's Indentity Crisis.
Memory lost episodes are a great plot device. It's a way to help newcomers understand some basic things for a show, as well as give backstory on characters. I really like this one. When TJ became Blue Ranger, he fell to the wayside of the series, same way Rocky did because of Tommy. TJ was trying everything he could do to remember who he was, going to Earth and watching videos of his friends. This could have easily been a two-parter episode. It would have been great if he wandered through various places his mind was trying to remember. A baseball field, a bus stop, past monster fight locations, and even more emotional ones like the destroyed power chamber. It's still there. This is where I would have loved if Justin had come back. I would have had Justin help him out as a friend so we get to see an early setup to his Turbo team-up episode. Justin was the former Blue Ranger. It would have been a nice bonding moment for the two of them, helping him remember and catching up with Justin. It was very unceremonial the way he left the series. This is why I wish he came back a few more times so it could have alleviated his lack of closure. Even though I picked these episodes, it doesn't mean I hate them as solo ones, besides Legendary Battle. They are all still good episodes. With hindsight, they could have been even better. What are your thoughts on my choices? What single episodes would you like to have seen expanded into multi-parters? Leave a comment down below. New episodes every Monday. Next week, I want to talk about my 10 favorite figure toy lines.